And the final question of the 2022 paper 2, National 5 paper. Okay, question 14. So this is the problem solving question here. So we've got all this information here. The width of the river is BC and AB is a tree. And from, if you're standing at C, at the edge of the river, the angle of elevation to the top of the tree is 28 degrees. And if you're standing further over at D, the angle of the elevation is 12 degrees. And the distance from C to D is 15 meters. And BCD is a straight line. And we're to calculate BC, the width of the river. Okay, so I'm looking at the first triangle, and my page is squint. Now, can I do a little? Nah. I'll do. Oh. Let's just do that. Okay, so we've got A, B, and C. So this is the thing. I'm going to call it X because that's what I'm trying to find, so I can kind of keep my focus on what I'm trying to find. And I know that that's 28. So I could use a right angle trig, SOHCAHTOA. I don't know if I knew what either the height of the tree was, or if I knew what the hypotenuse of that triangle, so AC, was. Okay, now the tree, it doesn't tell me what the tree is, and it's going to be quite difficult, if not impossible, to work that out, but I think I can work out AC by using the other triangle. So let's look at the other triangle now. I'm going to sketch it separately down here. Okay, so this is D and C and A. Now I know that's 12, and I know that's 15. And so I'm going to call this Y because that's the first thing that I want to, that's what I want to calculate. Now, this 28, that sits on a straight line, so that means that the other one is going to be 180, take away 28, which is 152. So that's 152 there. So that's 152. And now that I found 2 out of 3, I might as well find the other 2. So that the other angle is going to be 180, take away 152, take away 12, which is 16. Okay, so now I've got all my angles, and I've got a side 15, and I've got a side Y. So I can get my pairs of sides and angles. So there's angle side, angle side. I don't need 152, and I can use the sine rule. So I'm trying to find Y, it's a side, so it's going to be Y over sine of the angle across from it. So the angle across from that is 12, equals the other side, 15, over sine of the angle across from it, which is, what's across from 15 is sine 16. So then to get Y on its own, I do multiply both sides by sine 12. So sine 12 is times 15 over sine 16. There we go, sine 16 eventually. And I can put that into my calculator. Now be careful when you put it into your calculator. When you press sine, a bracket automatically opens. So you're going to have to shut that bracket, or else the other part of the fraction will sneak into it. Okay, so sine 12, close bracket, times 15 over sine 16. And you should be able to type it in looking exactly like that. And you get 11.314, so 11.31 meters. Okay, if you get syntax errors for anything, just make sure that you've closed any brackets. So you might get a problem here, and you might want to close that bracket. So 11.31 meters. So that's what that Y is. Now, if we go back to our first triangle, that's now going to be 11.31 0.31. And so now we can easily use that to work out with SOHCAHTOA what our AB is. So, or sorry, our BC we're trying to find. Maybe there was a reason why I labelled it X. So labelling the two sides, so there's H for the hypotenuse. The O is across from the 28, but we don't care. So I'm not going to label that. So that's O, so the X must be A. So that's my adjacent. And so with A and H, it's a cos question. So cos of the angle, which is 28. 28. Try the 8. Yep. It costs 20. It just won't write 2. There we go. 28 equals, it maybe doesn't like writing over there. Let me move that more centrally. Cos 28 is K, so that's A over H. Over H. And so that means my A is, so cos 28 is, my A is BC, or you could call it X. I'm just going to call it BC because that's what its proper name is. Over my H is 11.31. And so to get BC in its own, I multiply both sides by 11.31. So BC is 11.31 times cos 28. And into my calculator that goes 11.31 times cos 28 equals 9.986. 8, 6, 1. Now that's what BC is. Before I go and round, I'm just going to double check that the question didn't ask me to round anything. Nope, it didn't. It just said the width. So I'm going to round that to 2 decimal places. So 9.99 meters. And it just won't write that. 9.99. Let's try writing a different colour. 9.99 meters. Okay, that'll do. And that's the width of the river.